Hey guys, it's on from farpoint.org. Thought I'd do a quick battle report of Game 1 from a campaign myself and Phil started. We're not sure how many games there will be in this campaign. We're just going to kind of play through some story encounters from the Malifaux rulebook. The nice thing about story encounters is that they give you asymmetrical strategies. So for this one we have squatters' rights and I'm the attacker. So my job is to kind of flip those ski markers in the middle and claim them, the squat markers I believe they are. Phil's job on this particular one is to try and kill off my model, so by killing two models per turn, he picked up a VP. The schemes we went for, Phil went for take prisoner on the judge, which I of course didn't realise these were hidden schemes, and frame for murder on the flesh construct, both of which he managed to pull off to perfection, as we'll see as I talk through this. I went for plant explosives and outflank. Outflank was a mistake. I had free choice of schemes, and outflank separates my crew. You can see this is the end of turn one. You can see how spread out my crew is, and that doesn't work particularly well for this guild crew. They don't get the benefits of the synergies of Lady J. They don't get to benefit from the willpower boost from the scales of justice. So not the best plan. Let's talk about turn one. So you can kind of see my crew there. You know, there's the executioner out on the left. There's the death marshal and the judge out on the right. They're working towards that outflank scheme. Lady J's pushing aggressively up the middle. I mean, she's pretty resilient for the most part. I mean, there's an awful lot of things there, so I mean, this isn't necessarily going to end well for her. But the idea is that she be there in contact with a claim marker. She pushed up aggressively because what she wanted to do was also remove a corpse token that had been put in play. So a model you can't see there is Nino. Nino was hidden in the copse of trees on the left-hand side of the kind of central island there. He got lured out by a bell and pulled into one of the interesting features of this battle. At the start of the battle we flipped for some special terrain, and I flipped the Black Joker, which meant we have both boggy terrain and some carnivorous plants. So you can see two kind of areas of carnivorous plant there. So Nino was lured by a rotten bell into a carnivorous plant. I flipped maximum damage on Nino, and bye bye Nino, he was a corpse token. So turn one, things are okay, not looking fantastic for me. At the end of turn two, you see things are starting to go downhill quickly. There's a corpse token conspicuously where Lady J used to be. So the flesh construct moved up into Lady J. It was really slowed by the train it found itself in. It was standing toe to toe with her, and she killed it in 2 AP. She absolutely milled through it. Of course, Phil then revealed the scheme, which was frame for murder, netting him 3 VPs at that point. So Lady J also flipped the claim marker. I think she got rid of some corpse tokens that were knocking around. But I was confident enough that she could weather whatever came at her. What came at her, however, was a shot from the copycat killer. Well, that was okay, that missed. Then there was a focus shot from Seamus. That hit. Phil had the red joker in his hand, brought it out. Lady J was already sitting on 2 damage from the previous turn from a previous shot. So I managed to prevent some damage, leaving her on 1 wound, and Phil then had another attack in on her, and that killed her off. So Lady J down in the middle meant that claim marker was that squat marker was going to be fairly easy for the rezzers to flip back. So Executioner on the left hand side moved across to claim marker to make sure he could at least flip that and try and continue contesting. Death Marshal up there was getting a little bit harassed by the carnivorous plant and lured a little bit by bells. But he did manage to turn that claim marker, picking me up some VPs. The judge pushed down into Canine Remains with a view of killing it. I thought I could do it quickly enough and get back up towards the centre line, which he needed to be on for the outflank. But you see that didn't quite pan out. So this is turn 3. Judge is still toe to toe with this Canine Remains. Phil made really good use of defensive stance here. I mean, the dog just endured. You can see that there's a big melee starting to form just right at the central island there, and I'm not going to be able to do particularly well here. Scales of Justice is not good enough, and Death Marshals, well, you know, they're okay in melee, but that's not really where they excel, and there are so many potential attacks coming back at him here. So in quite a bit of trouble. Executioners over on the left hand side is still fairly unmolested. At this point I'm starting to think, you know, if I can pick up a VP or 2 from outflank, I'll be doing okay. One thing I neglected to mention from turn 2, I'll just go back to turn 2, was that there's a missing Death Marshal here. There's a Death Marshal on the central island from turn 1. He pushed really aggressively south of the island, ended up in amongst the rotten bells there, They killed him off. He dropped a ski marker as part to finish the job, and I used that ski marker to get my plant explosives. So did okay in turn two. But as I said, turn three things aren't going so well, and turn four you see things are looking much worse. So the judge eventually managed to kill off the canine remains, just got a hit on him, and Phil's starting to swarm towards him. Obviously he knew he had to take a prisoner, but I didn't know that. So I think they're coming in for the kill. All the time I'm thinking about how do I get the judge back up to that central line, because that's his main job. Executioner's starting to get bounced around a little bit. I pulled him back towards that bridge. I wanted to be within 3 inches of the edge on the centre line, and the Rotten Bell was moving up to start luring him away. Again, not that Phil knew what my strategy was, but he was just pulling him out of position, so things weren't going well. I'm still doing okay. I mean, this turn I'm still picking up a VP on the strategy. Phil didn't quite have enough AP to start flipping all the squat markers, but on turn 5 he'd definitely have a chance. So here you can see the central line, which was my target with the judge, but just it's so hard to resist the bells. They're any decent kind of card on their casting lore, and it's so hard to get away from them. So Phil swamped in on top of the judge to ensure that he was able to pull off the take a prisoner scheme, and the executioner just got pulled away. So for me, there wasn't a whole lot I could do here. Seamus's mobility in this battle was fantastic. Coming from the shadows, left, right, and centre, he was really, really very effective. So as the battle turned out, I think it ended up as an 8-5 victory to Phil. I'm just totting up the score. Yep, an 8-5 victory to Phil. So not bad for the first game of a campaign. So the idea here now will be that because the judge has been kidnapped, essentially he's been taken prisoner, the next game we play is Escort, where the Rezzers are trying to move the token that represents the judge, and I'm in some way trying to prevent that. So yeah, playing story encounters is really fun, really interesting. Not strictly a balanced game, but it makes for a really interesting bit of fun. Alright, until next time, thanks for watching, guys.